Good evening, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your weekend edition of your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up, and what a week to have this. Oh my gosh. All right, so we had the jobs data report. Let's first get to that. So the jobs data comes out with a good headline number, big, strong economy, 311,000 jobs. That's big. The market had a little bit of a wobble. The wobble was this, that when you look at the labor costs, they slipped a little bit, 0.2. And when you saw the unemployment, it jumps 0.2. I think actually the labor slipped 0.1. But it's enough to say, okay, so why did the unemployment go up? Because more people joined the workforce. So I think we were running 62.4 is the ratio, and now we went to 62.5. I'm doing this from memory, but we're in that zone. Well, when you add that amount of people, they're not working yet, so you add that to the unemployment part and blah, blah, blah. That's how you get to it. So on its own, and we were all studying that this morning. I've got the Fed Watch page on. What are the pro money going to do? Because that's where the bets go in. You see it show up on the Fed Watch page. And under 50% for a 50 basis point hike. Okay. But as you know, last night, we had SVB, the large bank in Silicon Valley, get into a monster problem. Again, it's one of these things. It seems that each Friday, for the last week it was Silvergate, now today's Friday again, another bank, and bang. Early in the morning, I'm watching at about 8:30 this morning Central Time. The bank says it has not found suitors. Game's over. Game's over. It means they're out of business. Why? Did they do anything wrong? The only thing I think they did wrong is they were a niche bank with one focus, and that focus was what? The tech. So they'd work with the people that would put together the deals, the VCs. From there, the companies would come. They'd probably do business with the bank. From there, the employees were paid from it, money coming into the bank. From there, maybe even the personal wealth of the different companies that were there. So the venture capitalists, they could have money everywhere, but that's how it works. And once you establish a new company, you establish a relationship, you typically do business with that bank. Well, because the business has slowed down so much, I'm going to stop there. I write about all this in my special report. I put one together already for my traders for Sunday night. You want it? Give a click right up here. Get into the free offers area, sign up for my report, and I'll finish this all up. I've written it already, so I know what I'm doing. All right. So if you look behind me in the markets and what you've got here, you can see how everything, a lot of red, but oil came back, BND, TLT, people buying U.S. Treasuries for certain in an environment like this. Gold came alive. I don't get Tesla, but it did. And when I looked at it, I said, well, how'd ARK do? She went down. So she drops $1.27 because of other exposure, even though she's a huge holder in Tesla, but everything else is basically down. So it was the metals, the Treasuries, some currencies got a bid today as well. Let's take a look at IWM. You can see the broad swings. I kept it intentionally large on this chart. I could have made it smaller. But you can see the waves the market's moving in. Gradual, higher, and now another huge down wave. But this down wave broke the back of the market. Now you have lower highs, lower lows. So until you come back through last week's high of 191.93, you're in a downtrend. What else? Now, bring in the chart a little bit. You're under the 18-week average. The market had been fighting a battle right here. It had fought here too. It had fought here at these averages. And now you're back the other side of them, and you've opened the door to go down to the lower Bollinger Band of 170.88. It's not an outside week down. This is a week where you made a lower low. You never took out last week's high. So that would be, in my opinion, the pros are going to probably try to sell in here, looking for that. But where's momentum? Not even close to being oversold. I see a downtrend now in place in this market. KBE, well, what market do you think took it on the chin the most this week? Take a look at where you're at. You're down 14% for the week. You've broken out of the Bollinger Band. not exactly at the lows of the week, but close. It could fight to get back into that. But the pressure on this is going to be immense because everybody's going to be scrutinizing what other banks could have a problem, the way that we've seen of Silvergate and of SVB. Again, it's in my report this week. It's got all kinds of cool stuff that you're going to want to see. When you look at XLI, well, I think you're going to be caught in the sideways action, not going anywhere. You don't have a trend. You have a higher high and a lower low. The market fell back and found support again at the 100-week average. It's been fighting there continually. You could see that. Momentum, though, has turned down. Okay. An XLE downtrend, but oversold. I don't think when you get oversold, you attract new money into that area. If you embed, you do. Embedding means, let's see if we've got one here. None. This is embedding. See the sideways action right there? That's embedding. And with it, what did the market do? It takes off. It attracts money. It's sort of like flies run to it. Oh, that's embedded. I want to be there. You're not there at this point. It's just oversold. FXE. Okay, I think you're going to have narrowness come into these markets. I don't think there's going to be a big move. You typically don't when you bring in the Bollinger Bands that much. They get narrower and narrower. Now, this week, I think it's on the 16th, we get the European Central Bank announcement, and Ms. Lagarde will do her speaking. She's a great speaker. We'll see what they do. Market's widely anticipating a 50 basis point hike this week and another one at the next meeting, and then everybody's going to look. In GLD, you fought and you won. The bulls won the day. The market held the combination of the 100-week, the 18-week in red. The market on the daily charts, if you're watching my futures, you saw that it was holding that 1814, 1815 zone, and you moved up. So until this week's low is taken out, I think on pullbacks, the pros are a buyer. Take out this week's low, you got to go back to the drawing board. Objective, well, if worse things happen in the banking, you're going to open up the door for way up here, the 180s. In GDX, no. If gold's good, it does not mean the miners are good. Gold is good for the moment. Gold still has a problem. You know, your 5-year note, let's call it the 5-year. Let me say it the right way. The 6-month note, that's what I wanted to say. And the 2-year, we're both paying now about 5%. They lost about a quarter point as people ran in for safety to the Treasuries, especially today. It began yesterday, and today with this announcement by the banking, that's what they've done. Gold doesn't pay anything. We're not through with rate hikes. Forget the fact that these banks are there. The Fed will pause maybe. What does pause mean? Stop raising rates? Oh, no. That's not what they're going to do. Read my report. You'll see what I think they're going to do. Do I know? I know. I think I have a better viewpoint than most. I think I have it nailed, and it's in the report this week. Lower highs, lower lows, still bearish. Wouldn't be surprised if you try to get to that 18-week. But if it can't, and you see gold weaken, you're probably going to drop a little more. I think that oversold markets attract new investment? Nope. Tesla. Even though it was up today, on the weekly chart, all it did is it came down, hit the combination of the 200-week and the 18-week, and that's where it's looking for its support. So overall, it still has an upside bias. It held the first big check there. AMD. I've been covering NVIDIA, so I thought I'd do AMD as well. Well, you're up to a pretty strong resistance and overbought. I'm looking for pullbacks in the market, but I like what AMD is doing overall. It still looks good to me as a chart. In Apple on a weekly basis, the market looks to me overbought, drifting sideways more than anything with the trend down, the bias up. Can't make heads or tails out of a chart like that. Meta's still bullish, but overbought. Overbought to me doesn't attract new money. That's what I would teach if I were trading with you in a room and you were paying me, Ira, do this for me, do that. I want to learn these things. I've done that in the past. And no, you walk away, you go somewhere else with your money. TLT, you've come down to the key number, the 18-week average. We know why today got the bid. Come on, it doesn't take a genius to see the banking system got threatened for a moment there, and now we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, these banks aren't big enough to hurt the big banks. Don't even think it. Don't worry about it. It's nonsense. It's almost like saying that the Biden budget's going to get through. It isn't going to happen. Don't fret about him wanting to tax you to death. It isn't going to happen. So we'll get through this. There will be other banks that are going to be looked at real hard. Before they're in trouble, ideally, the bankers get out there. They do tests on them, especially those in commercial real estate, those with the empty buildings and how many cities all over America. You got to look at how they're going to be able to keep that going. We know that the banks, the big boys, they've been putting away reserves. They're prepared for all this. I'm sorry about that. So how do you work with this? Well, I'm trying to tell you the way to do it. I've written a report that I think is super important this week. So I'd like you to get my Sunday report. The only way you're going to get it, I'm not mailing to everybody. You got to go to our website, sign up for free offers, my research there, and that's how you're going to be able to get it. So we understand each other. You can click up here to get that. The other way that you can get it, you can go to our website at iraepstein.com. Pretty simple. And then you'll see the free offers on the top left. But in my videos in the morning, what do? Be it in the ETF or the futures market. I do it the same way for both. We look at a chart, we dissect it, and in that, because this is for the general public, the government doesn't allow me to do certain things. I am a registered broker at the end of the day. I'm able, in these videos, to let loose. And because the only way you're getting in is a user ID and a password, I'm allowing you in. It's not for the general public. And because of that, buy here, sell there, do this. I'm right, I'm wrong. This is the risk on the trade. Where are we? I teach you how to set the trades up, why they're being set up. I can go on and on. iraepstein.com, click up here. You can even call my staff if you have questions. You have a great weekend.